Alright guys, JH6 and I appreciate you guys watching. So today we're going to talk about one thing that is highly neglected by a lot of guys here in the tactical gun prepping community, whatever we like to call it today. But it's going to be radios. And I got to tell you guys, medications like medical training and communication training is highly neglected by a lot of guys. So I'm going to give you some, I'm going to tell you some things that I learned during my combat / survival situations that I faced in the past, and I'm going to tell you some things about this radio in particular, and I'm going to tell you some of the things why I think it's critical to be able to communicate between your cell, maybe a patrol team, your cell, maybe your children, your family. So with that being said, let's hit the table and let's get started. Alright guys, so here we are, and what I got here is the Midland X-Tra Talk, which I'm going to put the model number down here on the screen. But I got to tell you guys, some of you guys are going to ask me for the link, and I got to tell you, I've been looking for a link for this radios and I cannot find it. Now I see some radios that are similar, but not this one in particular. I did bought this radio from Radio Shack, and I think I paid $25 to $30. I think it was Black Friday, so I did get a very, very good deal. Now guys, like I said, one of the things that I think a lot of preppers and a lot of guys in this community neglect is communication. And we go back to the basic military tactics. One of the things that you learn when you go to combat is to shoot, move, and communicate. Communication is just a major part of any operations. Now, knowing that and applying that to survival situation, the fact that you could talk to each other, it's definitely very beneficial, because you could tell each other things like, hey, meet me up at this rally point, or I need you to go left and cover that area because the enemy is coming through that side, or criminals are coming to that side through that side. So being able to communicate is extremely beneficial. I gotta tell you guys, a lot of you guys watch The Walking Dead, and if you actually watch The Walking Dead, and I'm gonna use that TV show because a lot of guys do watch it, how many situations they could have had fixed if they were just able to communicate and talk to each other. So definitely communication is definitely a major part of any survival situation. Alright guys, so taking a look at this radio, so I gotta say guys, like I said, I pay about $25 to $30. I think they're extremely beneficial to different survival situations. However, you gotta know the capabilities. One of the things that they claim to do is to talk about 24 miles. And I gotta tell you guys, that is just straight up not true. 24 miles, it is just a dream. I went out and tested out, and I was able to communicate with my wife about 1.5 miles to 2 miles. Now, I do live in a country area. So if you live in an urban terrain, or a lot of buildings and things like that, that may be reduced to maybe a mile or maybe less. So what I said this radio is good for is for basic, like I said, basic survival situation, but basic stuff like, you have something that happened in Ferguson where you actually have to stay and watch out your house or your business. Being able to put one guy in front of the building, one guy behind the building, that close range, you will be able to communicate. Again, looking at the Ferguson situation, maybe you have one guy in the top, on the top of the roof doing roof wash, while you have one guy in the front of the house or in front of the business doing that wash right there. Pretty much at 360 degrees. I think this radio will work fine for that. Again, I use this radios with my children. What I do is that when I go to sleep, I give them one of them and I keep the second one. Now, what happened with that is that if I need anything, or if there is some type of emergency, they will be able to, scream, but they will be able to grab the radio and talk to me. And I know a lot of guys will say, well, you could just scream. Well, if it's some type of home invasion and he hears something, maybe he just want to tell me as quiet as possible, so I could wake up, be alert, and take care of that situation instead of just screaming. If you start screaming, you're pretty much going to give away your location. Now, another thing that I truly like is this call icon or button right here. Once you press that, you're gonna make a really good sounds that, again, I'm using that as some type of alert. If something happened, you just press here, as you could hear, guys, and that would tell me that it's an emergency. Now that's what I'm doing with my children, guys. The key here is to get some type of equipment and set up your own plan that works well for you and your family. All right, guys, so as you could tell, they're pretty well constructed, very easy to operate. You press the menu button and it turns off. You press it again, it turns back on. Very simple. If you want to change channels, you just press it one, wait until it blinks, and then right here you change channels. So again, very simple. It goes all the way to 22 stations. Again, I'm gonna put the model number down in the screen. 22 stations, which works very well. It does has a scan icon. I barely use that. I think it goes all the way to 8 in volume. I gotta tell you guys, I'm not a big fan of the volume. 8 is not loud enough for me, maybe because I do have some hearing loss from combat, but it may be good to use. So sometimes I find myself trying to put my ear there so I can listen pretty well. Again, like I said, definitely does not have 24 miles of range. That's definitely not something that is true. Some of the things that I don't like is the fact that the back screen doesn't light up, as you can tell. So at nighttime, it may be a little bit difficult to see those channels right there. It would be nice if this back screen kind of light up. I don't like that. The charging station, guys, it works pretty well. As you can tell back here, it just pretty much connect to the plug, so nothing big. But once you put it on, it kind of wobbles a little bit. As you can tell, like I'm pressing this one down and it kind of pops back up, so it does wobble a little bit. I don't like that, but again, guys, it's not really a big deal. You do get an indication, lights up right there, that it's charging, so that's definitely very good, and it lets you know that it's actually charging. Definitely some of the things that I like, guys, is that it's very easy to operate, very cost efficient. You know, it doesn't really cost too much money, so it works very well. It does have some possibly that you're possibly gonna have the ability to put some accessories up here. If you go to Amazon, they sell all kind of different accessories. Now that's gonna be up to you, but you could get a mic, maybe a mic throw, something like that. You could get a couple of different things. So I do like that, and you know, I do like a lot this icon right here that allows me to pretty much press it, and now I know it's some type of emergency. Like I said, guys, that's just standard SOP in my house. You could do something differently. So I definitely recommend it, guys. I would recommend this radios. I've been using it for, I want to say 2 months right now, and I use them every single day. But I definitely recommend it, but you got to know your capabilities, guys. If you expect to buy this and go out there and talk 24 miles, it's just not going to happen. So make sure that you know the capabilities of this radio. You know, this is just a basic walkie-talkie, you know, two-way radio that you could utilize to talk to somebody at a close range. For that, it's definitely do pretty well. Just keep in mind that other people could listen to your conversation again. So that's gonna be something that is gonna be up to you what you want to do. Now, make sure you check out the radio show number 11. I did have the Alabama Owens, and I'm gonna put his channel below. Me and him had a show on ham radios. I would definitely recommend you to get into the ham radios. That's something that I'm doing. And as I get into that, I will be doing videos because I do want to learn that system. I think it's going to be a little bit better. And I think that by putting the videos up here, we'll be able to talk to each other. We'll be able to learn together. Now, if you have any radios like this that work pretty well, definitely put it down in the comments. If you got any input, put it down in the comments, guys. Remember, a lot of guys are looking for information, so don't hold back. Any information that you have, definitely put it down there. Alright, guys, if you guys like videos like this, make sure you click like. I always appreciate when you subscribe to the channel, share my videos, and as always, God is in control.